We would like to start with a short introduction round. I'm the delegate of the documentary team. We made this film. I'll give the microphone to Frank Etzold. Hello, my name is Frank Etzold. You saw me on the film. Back then I was active policeman. Now I'm retired, but I've kept up, In 3 days I will be retired, and hope I'll keep up as well. I'm happy that we can appear as the way we like, the way we always appear. And my name is Heiner Müller, and I'm happy that the people, we don't have to run around like the other people here with jogging pants and t-shirt. And I was running the cultural office of the region, and had a lot to do with Eule back then. My name is Eule. Most people know me. I hope I'm not going to be retired that soon, but I'm the head of the organization here. I'm Mareen from Kulturkosmos for 6 years now, leading the project, and I'm originally from Rechlin and grew up here. I've known the organization for about 16 years. Let's start with the first question to Mr. Müller. We were sitting together on the hangar, and we talked a lot about the. And I remember the sentence. You moved from being Saul to being Paul. You got to know Kulturkosmos in 1996, but your view towards the organization has changed quite a bit, and maybe you can describe that. I'd like to do that. So I thought I always was the most tolerant person in the world, up until the fusion. Someone showed me my mirror in the context of fusion and Kulturkosmos, and in this context, I'm not a bureaucrat. And after the fall of the Berlin Wall, everybody had to find a job, and I started at the environment office, and there you also have to do with noise and stuff like that. And I thought I was tolerant, and I was a fan of music as well, and I want to out myself. I will say what my musical interests are. I'm a little older than most of you. I like Beatles and Stones and Hendrix and Janis Joplin, and that was my music. And I was sitting on the balcony and in Röbel, and I heard uka 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 uka, and that wasn't the easiest for my ears. Without finding out what it was and locating it, and then some point it came from Rechlin. There were some chaos and listening to Uka Uka, and I was some point I was dealing with this on a organizational level, and I was talking about you have to. You have to deal with that. You have to forbid this, and it wasn't my thing at all. And people looking differently than me, and I'm very tolerant, but music that wasn't really okay. And suddenly I was in the process allowing fusion, and then I said, well, let's see what we can do on a bureaucratic level. Maybe put some sort of restriction in, and then at some point the head of the region asked me about what's going on with fusion, and there he said, "You have to allow this. We're not in Namibia. We're on the outback. We have to issue an allowance." But the only one who could allow this, the environmental office could be, and it was about the camping and the Mecklenburg land culture law. Had a regulation that camping was only allowed on regulated camping spaces, and I heard that there was, the people were camping without the without a camping permit. And Mr. Eule called me and said, "Mr. Müller, listen, in about 10 days there's a fusion, and I think we need a permit to." So say, and I said, "Well, we're not going to get you a 10 permit in like 8 or 10 day tent. They only allow a permit for the only permit there was that we could issue were for anyway, he said." Well, listen, there's 20,000 people on the way here. You can tell them to go back." And I said, "Well, okay, well, bad luck." And there's a lot of security risks with that. It went quite well, and I'm pretty happy about that. My resentment against fusion went taken away for that. There was a review of that. About the second or third fusion, I think.
So we put it into retrospective, and all the officers from the government were showing up and dealing with the question of fusion, including my friend and colleague, and also mayor of former mayor. And back then he was the head of the police. And one thing I noted, I was just telling him how bad fusion is. And then this dirty cop told me, "I don't get you. If somebody has big knowledge of hosting an event like this, then this would be me." And he told me there were about 60,000 people, and every village party, there is much more stress than at a fusion with 6,000 people like we have here. And furthermore, here are 60,000 people that they have just one thing in common: call it tolerance, creativity, having fun, and everything. And this is a really small, very sane world. And just take a look at this. And then he told me, "You will be converted too." I took a look later on, and it was a copper who actually brought back tolerance with me, who made me more tolerant. Okay, thanks. In the interview, you said to forbid fusion is out of the order, but we have to take a look at this Kulturkosmos back in '96. And my question would be, what does it actually mean if you get to know each other? What type of cooperation took place concerning Kulturkosmos? So I already mentioned I was the boss of the police for 22 years, local police. In the end of the '90s, my colleagues told me there's some party going on at this old airport, and some tents and some music. We don't know what it actually is. So we showed up, took a look, then I saw the whole scenery. And how to put it? Yeah, I was somewhat helpless. What is happening there? I was really interested. The security cannot be affected. The ideas a copper has. And of course, this was my job, right? And we took a good look at it. And I was asking another colleague, and he was just saying, "Oh yeah, for some years it's been going on. We don't know what it is." So this was the beginning. everything was really small. You could still see it. There was no wall, no fence. So it started to begin bigger and bigger. Started to become bigger and bigger. Of course, there were a lot of people from the local scenery were saying like, "Oh, what type of people are coming up? What type of freaks are coming here? What's happening with all the local shops?" And there's also another mayor who said, "We have to forbid everything." I will not mention his name here. And we started thinking, what is this thing actually? We have to come together, like we have to find a solution. So the government came together, police and other officers came together, and we invited Eule. Yes, we had a roundtable discussion, but Eule didn't really know what we were up to. They thought they were showing up at a court or some place like that. And we just wanted to know what is this thing, fusion? What is happening here? And Eule then had a concept, and he told us where this journey will go to. And there was nothing bad about it. Like, why should we have something against it? So let's do it together, we said. But of course, if more people show up, we have to take care of it. They're also coming from police. And we didn't want to control men, but we wanted to save people from harm. So we had this discussion, and over the years it grew and grew. And during springtime, we started having first discussions concerning traffic. And for 5 years ago, we had a whole concept, only a security concept. And it worked, so it couldn't be that bad that we worked out together. And I really had a positive attitude towards this festival. Yeah, there are maybe 60,000, maybe even more. We know there are some gray cells traveling here. And this is bigger than the city of Neubrandenburg, the local capital, the regional capital. And I will take out drugs. This is another discussion. But all in all, we had only 50 or 60 people who got commissioned by police. So all in all, you can only have like a really good impression of this. The other things, everybody has, concerning the other things, I suppose drugs, we have to take care of this. And I still know there are still regularly people doing drugs here. I still notice that people get controlled, and people who get caught with drugs, they have to pay for this. They will lose their driver's license. They have to pay for their fun too. I can only tell the people, like, please keep it to yourself. And we will keep on doing the checkpoints outside the festival, because we want people not to drive under the influence. Next question. I have a question for you, Eule. So what we've heard, that you could put all the concerns behind you and Fusion, and that a culture of not only understanding but also cooperation has started with the other side, with the side of the government and the police. And people even at the office of the government told me Fusion is like a drug. But for example, there are many initiatives who keep their status of being someone in the outback. So I must say, like, one of the foundations of the thing here is that the regional person from Mecklenburg is that he's a little bit timid person or calm person, but after Wende, after the change of '89, there has been a big change, and there is space for many more ideas, but many more questions too. But the people were definitely generally really open to the idea. Here are young people coming together, having fun. And from our side, we came from other areas, from other metropolitan areas, and of course the government in the big cities, they knew how to handle with stuff like this, and there was no breathing space. But here people came together, and people have to learn, and people even did workshops concerning things like these festivals. But we moved in each other's direction. And we talked about, like, what are your fears? What are your ideas also? How do you want to assist it? And Heiner Müller was somewhat of a difficult person in the beginning. But in the end, we came together. And also as a mayor and a local boss of the government, he paved the way, including the Office of the Environment. So people told me he was just in the background, but we found like a good flow to come together. And the meaning basically is generally positive, and this helped us to overcome a lot of prejudices.
Mareen, I'm interested in your perspective. You were born here, and as a teenager, I think you met Kulturkosmos the first time. And from the perspective of a young person, if you remember the time, how did you see Kulturkosmos back then? And did you find something that you missed otherwise? And how was that? Yes, I don't know if I missed something. Yeah. It was the curiosity that was there, and the doors were open, and the organization invited everybody from the surrounding area. And when I was 14, Eule stood in the youth club and said, "Listen, I'm introducing myself. I'll tell you what we're doing on the venue, and what we're planning in the future. And if you're interested, come visit us and help us. We can use your help." And there was me and a couple of friends, and we said we were courageous and just go there and have a look. And the organization said, well. So it gave us tasks to do, and then we solved them, and they trusted us that we could, handle little areas. And you worked for your ticket, or how did it work? Yes, that happened later. That was a ticket. That we were ticket jobbers, but during the year I was here regularly here. When the SOS party was here, that Ronnie talked about, it was called U Ground, and we organized the bar, and we were in the workshop and built something, and just any kind of task that came up, and the relationship just grew and grew. And if anything was needed, Eule called us, and we were always ready to do something. And you came here, and I went in and out over the years, and then I left for a couple of years. Well, I thought there's not so much to do here in Mecklenburg, and when I returned 2009, I had a free summer, and I called if I could help. And since then, I've been sitting in the office, and I've got a full-time job, and live in Berlin half of the year. And from April, I'm on the venue and start organizing the festival. Is there any kind of questions from the audience? Does anybody have a question? Yes, over there. I have to tell you one story here in terms of tolerance development. I was asked by the policeman to have a look here, and the question about corruption is over because I'm already being I'm paying pension soon, so I got 2 tickets for me and my wife, and we went here and and showed people the free ticket. And he said, old people get here for free anyway. I had passed the first hurdle, and then I was on the area for about 150 meters, and a girl jumped towards us and looked like Pippi Longstockings, and was very happy. A Dutch girl, and cuddled my woman. That's so nice that old people come here too. And we old people had a look and said, "It's crazy, it's great, it's fantastic." I'm very happy. I was here yesterday, and it looks like they're building the Tower of Babylon, and 100,000 people jumping around, and everybody has a tool here, and it somehow works, and it's something really great. And I'm congratulating everybody here. Showed organizational talent, and especially Eule. The management that has to be done here, and I'm happy that everything works. It's really great. I'm really happy that from this impossible situation, something great like this has come out of it. The question in the back. There's no question. I'm Simone. I live here. I was born in 1961, and I've seen it for 20 years. I have to tell you something about it. I have 3 kids, and my youngest one is becoming 28 next week. 20 years ago, maybe a little later, the little guys went towards the airport and took their rucksacks, and about 10 in the evening went home. And then they said, "Mom, they're mushrooms. They sell mushrooms." And my mother, we said, like, we almost fainted, and went there and said, "Well, we've really got to have a look at this." And we just put that in, and got some Deutschmarks, and asked for entry, and we had a look at this, and I must say, I'm really fascinated. And came back here every year, and I'm over 50, and I'm getting here for free, and I'm really amazed by what you do here, and what you make happen here, and all these masses of people from all over the world, and that it all happens so harmonically and just works. And in the beginning, we have the traffic jam. I was really angry about the traffic jam, but it worked out in the last couple of years. It's really relaxed in the last couple of years, and see this as a person living there, and the organization with bus shuttle and everything. And I'm really happy that about these days, because I'm always on vacation then, and I'm health care assistant, and I work in a seniors residence, but they have holidays, and that I'm on holiday here, and I enjoy this. And of course I go here back home at night, but I hope you have a lot of time and the best weather, and it stays like this and doesn't rain again. And I think we're behind that, and Eule and this team have a lot of success. And as I read in the newspaper, there's a year downtime in May to maybe to be maybe even greater. So have a lot of fun.
I think these were the perfect finishing words. So if there are no further questions, I would love to say thank you to everybody here on stage. Of course, especially to Kulturkosmos who made the film happen. The film will be published on the website of Kulturkosmos in the near future, so check this out. Please share this also. Yes, we still have to do some corrections concerning the image and the sound, but thank you very, very much.